For those of you who have tried to resolve past conflicts with narcissistic people in your life, family members, or a spouse, you're going to realize that it can't be done. As a matter of fact, trying to resolve conflicts with narcissistic people ends up being more confusing, more damaging, and can oftentimes even abuse you further. And by resolving past conflicts, what we're really talking about is the ability to come together and say, hey, this happened, and that happened, and this was said, and let's talk about why so that we can make sure that we don't do this again. All right, it's your effort to try to break the cycle of abuse in a toxic and abusive relationship. But when you're dealing with narcissistic people, it's just not possible. And the reason is because with narcissistic personalities, while they are capable of remembering things that have transpired, they are not capable of reflecting. And that's what we're going to talk about. Everybody say this together with me. Narcissists can remember, but they cannot reflect. Know the difference. One more time. Let's say it together. Say it with me. Narcissists can remember, but they cannot reflect. Know the difference. In today's message, we're going to talk about the difference between remembering and reflecting. After all, narcissistically abusive personalities, they're pretty smart cookies. Some of them, not all of them. Some of them are as dumb as doornails, but many of them are very smart. Many of them have excellent memories even. However, when it comes to dealing with past conflicts, resolving issues, you're going to see yourself stuck in this weird circle getting nowhere. And if this is you, I don't want you to have to deal with that any longer. I am here to support you. My name is Kevin McKee, and this is The Royal We. Now, before I do continue with this very important message about the difference between remembering and reflecting and why you're going with narcissists, you'll get nowhere. I want to let you know that I'm here to support you. Down in the description box, you will find access for one-on-one appointments. So down below this video, head on down to where it says schedule your one-on-one appointment. Click on that link. You can choose between a video call or a standard telephone call. I am here to take your calls, to coach you through what you are experiencing. Also, in addition to that, I do have a coaching program. My coaching program is live and in person. So if you're interested in joining a community of people who are going through exactly what you're going through, to encourage you, to help you start over in life, consider joining the Royal We Coaching Program. Either way, head on down to the description box right now. You may have to expand it, see what's down there. There's a lot of great opportunities for you. Now, we're talking about the difference between remembering and reflecting. I think the best place to start as far as understanding what's going on with narcissistic people is to know the difference ourselves, right? So when we talk about remember, what is remember? I already got it opened up on my web browser here. Narcissists can, in fact, remember things. If you were to bring something up to a narcissistic person, they're going to say, oh, yeah, I remember things being said. If you try to bring up something they said, they called you a name or this and that, oh, well, I remember we were in a debate. Typically, their remembering is shallow. It's kind of like they remember like goldfish, right? They're like, well, I remember in this general area. This is what you're going to be dealing with when you talk to a narcissistic person. I remember we were upset. I remember there was an argument going on. I remember some things were being said. Okay. They are capable of that type of remembering. Well, let's look at the definition of remember, and you can see what it is, right? Remember, by definition, is having in or be able to bring to one's mind an awareness, someone or something that one has seen, known, or experienced in the past. Simply put, remembering is defined as just bringing into one's mind an awareness of something, which is what narcissistic people do. I'm willing to bet the word remember is probably formed by narcissists, right? They're able to say, oh yeah, I can remember. I have an awareness of that happening. That's remembering. I have an awareness. I think I was there. And many of you have dealt with this with your narcissistic partners or family members. You've tried to bring something to their attention in order to try to make a change. And they're like, oh, I think I remember something happening, but So what is it you're up against? What is it that you are up against when you're trying to get deeper and you're actually trying to resolve conflicts to make sure that things don't happen again. That takes more than remembering. You have to go beyond memorying. You have to get into reflecting, right? So let me go back here to the web browser. I'm going to type in reflecting because you can see the difference and why we need to talk about. Did I misspell that? I sure did. Reflecting. Here we go. Come on, Kevin. Get the spelling right. The first definition of reflecting is a surface or body throwing back heat, light, sound, image. That's a mirror. Okay, we're not looking at that type of reflecting. We're looking at the one underneath that. Number 2, down there at the bottom, it says to think deeply or carefully about. To think deeply or carefully about. That is what reflecting on a situation is. So narcissists can remember, oh yeah, I remember there was a debate or an argument, but they cannot reflect, think deeply or carefully about that incident. They give an example here with number 2 about reflecting. It says this, the example under number 2 is, he reflected with sadness on the unhappiness of his marriage. What a great way to give an example of that. How many of you reflect with sadness on the unhappiness of your toxic family dynamic or your toxic marriage dynamic, right? Narcissistic people have an inability to think deeply or carefully about. And the reason is because this requires accountability. And it's just not formed in the narcissist brain. Now, I'm not a brain doctor, and I'm not going to pretend to be a brain doctor, but I do think there's something wrong with most narcissist brains. They're this area, if you will, where they can remember an event when it comes to reflecting, having deep thoughts. And most narcissistic people, what you're going to hear is they're going to be like, well, I just don't care. That's how they say, I just don't care. I don't care that much about it. Okay, it happened. I said this, so I threw something at you. So I acted out in violence and hostility. I don't care. Another way of saying, what they're really saying is, I can't reflect on it. By reflecting, what you're trying to do, if you want to resolve that conflict in order to have any possible future with them, is you want to be able to say, okay, well, what led to that? Why did you lash out in that way? Why did you rage? Why did you throw something? Why did you cuss me out? Why did you do this? Okay? Because they can remember that it happened. Narcissists can say, oh, I can remember we were in an argument, but that's the extent of it. But you're going to want to know. In order to resolve the conflict, to move forward in life, you're going to want to know, okay, but why? What happened? What did I do? What did you do? How did we get to this place where you are throwing things and lashing out in rage? And this is where the narcissistic person is just it's going to be like, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what answers you want me to give. They're avoiding reflecting. They can't go any deeper than just remembering the awareness that it happened, but getting to the understanding of why, what they were feeling inside, how it might have affected you, how it affected the situation. They can't do that. The part of the brain that is reflecting, that requires accountability, is gone. It's like, this is why narcissists just live, just going, doing their things, hurting people. They don't care. They can't reflect. Wow. Come to think of it, I wonder what it would be like to live a life of zero self-reflection. Just doing whatever you want to do all the time. Well, all you got to do is look at most narcissistically abusive people's lives. All their broken relationships and how they're unable to stay. I mean, that's what it looks like when you're unable to reflect, ever. You just constantly keep going and keep doing and going, never reflecting, always avoiding accountability. But this is what you're up against. And the reason it's important to understand this is because my desire for you is that you would stop trying to resolve these conflicts with narcissistic people in your life. If they show signs that they cannot reflect, then you'll go nowhere. There's a difference between remembering and reflecting. All right? So remember that, and I will be right back with more videos. For those of you who do need one-on-one support, head on down to the description box, schedule that time with me. Video calls, telephone calls are available for you. Those of you who are trying to resolve conflicts with narcissistic people now, stop it. Instead, put that energy and effort into contacting me. I'll be back with more videos for you. Until I'm back, watch one of these videos right here and enjoy the rest of your day. I'll be back with more right here on The Royal We.